Breaking tonight, Donald Trump and Carly Fiorina turning up the heat as both clash on the campaign trail in South Carolina.
She's got a good line of pitter-patter, but when you listen for more than 5 minutes, you develop a tremendous headache.
A leader always challenges the status quo. And leadership is not about how big your office is, how big your title is, how big your airplane or your helicopter or your ego is. Leadership is about service.
Now, Carly is out there fighting like hell to raise money. No, she's trying to raise money. I don't know. She doesn't want to spend her own money. And her business career was a disaster. And nobody wants to say it. They say you can't say that because it's sexist.
Joining me now, National Review editor and Fox News contributor Rich Lowry and the Blaze radio host Chris Salcido. Great to see you both.
Hi, Megan.
So let's start with that. People say it's sexist to say her business career was a disaster. Has anybody said that? Has anybody said that?
No one disputes that. And look, Trump obviously attacks everyone, but she's become a much bigger target. And I think part of what's going on here is that last debate. Let's be honest. Carly cut his balls off with the precision of a surgeon, and he knows it. He knows it. He's insulted and bullied his way to the top of the polls. No one was able to best him ever except for this tough lady on that stage, and it must kill him. He must be simmering about it to this night.
Rich, I mean, first off, you need to come out of your shell, buddy, and you don't really tell everyone what you really can. Well, first off, you know, look, they both went at each other. Both have very good business acumen, both have pretty good track records in the business world, and both have appeal because they're not part of the problem. You know, what struck me the most is this political atmosphere. The latest guy to drop out of the race, of course, was Scott Walker, whom I love. I love Scott Walker. But what was his message? Hey, we all need to unite to take out Donald Trump. And I think a lot of the country is saying, hey, Republicans, why don't you try concentrating on that other party that's been destroying the country for the last 7 years, you know, the Democrats, instead of piling on Trump for crying out loud.
And that's been the feedback that Trump has received too. Focus on the Dems instead of the Republicans, Rich.
Well, that's pretty much all Trump does, more or less, is attack the other candidates, and it's been interpreted as strength and toughness. I think it's becoming more and more clear that he's just really thin-skinned is part of this. And if I were Carly, the advice I would give her, laugh it off, shrug it off, take it very lightly, and stick to your business, getting your message
Chris,
out there.
what did you make? Let me ask you, though. What did you make? Because, you know, Trump comes out and sort of sets up a straw man that people say he's a sexist because he says Carly had difficulties in her business career. That's not true. People said he was sexist because he made fun of her face. And even remarks like the ones we just played, you listen to her pitter-patter for more than 5 minutes, and she gives you a headache. Those are known as sort of code words for this woman drives me nuts because of, you know, we've heard these things before.
Well, the idea that nobody else is firing on Trump in this whole thing is ludicrous. Everybody's taking shots. Yeah, they're all firing. He's the front runner for crying out loud. So yeah, except for Ted Cruz. I mean, let's make mention there. But I mean, the fact that everybody is just behaving civilly and Donald Trump is the only one out there giving cannon fire is not true. But you know, sooner or later, this is all going to work out in the wash. I think that Donald Trump is very good for the discussion we're having at this particular point in our country, as are all the outsiders and Ted Cruz. And Marco Rubio had a fantastic debate. He did a great job, and I'm still having a hard time forgiving Chris Christie for 2012, but even he had a pretty good debate. So I think this is way... You
tell me one thing before I let you go, Rich. Does this dispute, you know, between Trump and Fiorina tell us that she's a real contender?
I think so. She is gaining on him, and she's gaining on him in that outsider lane that we've talked about. And she's gotten under his skin, clearly. And, you know, Trump is, he doesn't like being challenged. He doesn't like being criticized. And he's lashing out. And he says she's always repeating herself. he repeats himself constantly.
No,
it's just he
do.
never really says anything and is much less coherent than she is.
They all do. That's their challenge, is to make their shtick sound, you know, like they just
This
came
could
up with
be,
it on the campaign.
guys, this could actually be a competitive race on the GOP side. That's could also what we're looking at here.
Well, listen, it's looking good for Trump, Fiorina, and Carson.
Yeah.
65% of the Republican voters, I think it was in the Fox News poll, say we want an outsider. I think.
There you go.
I'm not sure if that's the number, but it was very, very high. I'll get back to you. Great to see you both.
Thanks, guys.